How are you this morning? I am pretty good. It is about 10 o'clock Central Time, and I am in Georgetown, Kentucky, just outside of International Crankshaft. After we talked last, I drove into Little Rock and got the truck washed, and then drove down to Percival, Arkansas, and parked the truck for the night. Got the new camera installed in the back, so I got that whole thing all worked out. And here in a couple of days, I will do a review on the Falcon 2-camera dash cam, but not right now. I'm still playing with it. I've already found a few things I'm not too fond of, but seems to work pretty well. Spent the night in Percival, got up about 7:30, and then took off and drove up here to Georgetown. Got in last night about 5 p.m. Central Time. Went up to the dual pilots up there at exit 129 on I-75 and got a parking spot for the night. Yeah, got some dinner at Wendy's, and then kind of camped out. Got up this morning at 7 o'clock Central Time, went inside, took a shower, got up, bought fuel, and drove over here. And got another Maverick going by. He just got a load, he's going to go get that. Then I got over here at 9:30 Central Time for my, excuse me, 8:30 Central Time for my 10 o'clock Eastern appointment. And got it unsecured and got it delivered. Was out of there about 10:20, I think. Didn't take too long. They're not very busy, it seems like. Not today. Usually there's 5 or 6 trucks here delivering, but I don't know. Pulled around, parked on the street, put everything away, and now I'm just kind of waiting. Last message was about an hour, almost an hour ago, and there was 27 trucks here in Kentucky, and they were 24 loads short, and I was number 3 on the board. So that means since he got his load, I'm number 1 on the board because he was number 2. And he's headed up to Silver Grove. I'm kind of hoping I go up there too. So I don't know. What's going to be planned up. I do have a student. I didn't expect to get one for a couple weeks. I am getting one. He gets out of hands-on training today. It's from Garland, Texas. So when I go home, if I go home, he won't have to have a hotel room. He can just go to the house. I'm not sure how the logistics are going to work, because from where I parked the truck, Garland is east, and then my house is west. And maybe the first time I'll drive him home, but after that he's going to have to get his own way back and forth to where I park the truck. He's going to have to get a ride though, because he can't park his vehicle where I park my truck, because I don't have, I only have limit of 1 parking space. So there we go. But hopefully things will come up good, and I'll get something heading that way. I wouldn't mind go home this weekend, but I'm not going to hold out for it. It's only Thursday, but if I get something that gets me going that way, I might be able to do it. So with that said, I'll let y'all know when I know. See ya. Good afternoon, YouTube. How are you this afternoon? I'm all right. Since I talked to you last, I got a load. I guess I sat there till 11 Central Time at International Crankshaft, and then I got a load up here in Gent, Kentucky at North American Stainless Steel. I've never picked up here before, but I've heard horror stories, and I'm starting to believe them. I had a 15:40 appointment, so I kind of sat there for about another 20 minutes or so, figured out how to get here, figured out the route to where I'm going to go and all that good stuff. And then I headed up here, and I stopped at the Loves about 10-15 miles away to eat lunch. I got there at about 12:15 or so, Went inside, went to the bathroom, then I went to this little place next door, this little barbecue shack next door, and got some ribs. They're all right. I mean, I still have some left because I got a pound or so. They're not too bad. I mean, they're pork ribs, and I love pork ribs. I love ribs, period. But their sauce is a little, I don't know, and their rub is mediocre at best, in my opinion. So I ate that, and then I was there about 45 minutes, and I headed over here, and I got here at 1:30. My appointment was at 2:40 Central Time, 3:40 Eastern. I got here and was talking to another Maverick, and then went ahead and checked in, and I sat till about about 2:30, and then they called me in, and I went in, got on the scale, and they told me where to go, and I went and pulled in to the bay where they wanted me to be. And it's really convoluted. It's a big bay. It's got 4 sections, and there's 2 rows. And you pull in, and you go to your first bay, depending on where you're loading. I'm picking up loads for 2 stops, and I'm getting loaded 3 times. The first time I loaded, they put a single coil on, and they were supposed to put a single coil on bay 1, but they couldn't find it. So they told me to go and pull up to day 3 and get 2 coils from there, and then back up to get my original first one. Once I had those 2, I was supposed to pull up and come out to the guard shack, and they were supposed to tell me to go to the next place to get the last part of my load, which is sheet steel. It was just a mess. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like they were slow. Places overly crowded. Too many things going on. And other than them telling you what your number is, which your number is your appointment time, that's all you get. You don't get any other information until you told what you're getting. I was told at the beginning I was getting 3 coils and sheet steel, and it's like, okay, what are the weights? What are the sizes? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we don't have that yet. Blah, blah, blah. They finally gave it all to me, so I was able to build the cradles and get everything done and make a decision on where I wanted to put everything. And it's just a real mess. And then so when I got the coils on and I pulled out to go to get the sheet steel, they told me they don't have it ready. So I had to come back out here to the staging area, and I'm only partially secure. I'm all secured for the coils, but I'm only partially tarped. I only have a canvas tarp over the coils because they don't want me putting the vinyl on until it started raining again. Until I get the sheet steel on. So
Maverick 158054, you got a copy?
There they are. I'll talk to you later. Good evening, YouTube. How are you this evening? I am not doing well. It is almost 10 o'clock Central Time, and I am in Franklin, Kentucky at, I don't even know what the name of this truck stop is. It's at exit 6 on I-65 on the other side of the highway from the 2 pilots that are over there. When we were interrupted, I headed in to the scale, in scale, and they told me what door to go to, and I had to drive around and find it. And when I got back there, it was a convoluted, messed up back to get back in to get into this door. And I got in there and talked to the loader, and sometime between when I got my original paperwork and when I got to that point, they changed my load. I was supposed to be getting approximately 18,000 pounds of sheet steel, and it changed to roughly 8,000 pounds. So the weight distribution on my load is all messed up. I mean, I'm still legal. I'm still legal, but I have a lot more weight on my tandems than I do on my drives. I should say on the trailer axles. I'm not over the 40,000, but I got a lot more weight back there than I should, because I had set up my trailer to handle roughly 20,000 pounds of sheet in the front, and then 3 coils, with the heaviest coil in the middle and going back. I would, you know, that was only part of it. Once I got that on there, then I whipped out my other 2 canvas tarps, put those on. Got out my vinyl tarps, put my 4-foot drop vinyls on, and all that. Got it all done, and then checked out, and I had just under 3 hours and 45 minutes available to drive. So I took off with the hope of getting here to Franklin. But I was watching Trucker Path, and the truck stops started filling up. I knew they would. And I got here. I was originally going to go to the Flying J at exit 2, and about 2 hours ago I checked it and the lot was full, and I started to reserve a parking space because there were 3 left. And before I could get it completed, get the reservation completed, they had sold out. So I started sweating the load. Ended up stopping at a no-name truck stop at exit 38, because Trucker Path said it had some spots available. It didn't have anything. I drove around it. Probably got 100 to 125 truck spaces. I drove around it for a good 5 minutes looking for spots, and there wasn't anything other than maybe park it on the end and blocking up driveways. I don't do that. So I put the hammer down, came down here, pulled in, and I could see from the exit both the pilots were full. Of course, Trucker Pass said they were, and this place said it had a few spots open. So I came over here and looked, and it's full. I found a spot way in the back, and it was a devil of a blind back to get in it. I hate truck stops that put the angle parking in and put it in as blinds instead of doing the logical thing and put it in as normal. I get that. They just don't care. I mean, I know they have to do it to maximize the space and the way the lot is built. But the way this lot is built, it would have been better off as straights, or if they wanted to put in angle parking, they should have done it where it wasn't blind backing. Because it's really difficult to blind back a flatbed with these split axles, especially in the rain, because you can't see that. And this lot is dark. You can see out there. There's no light. So I got that. I got in here and parked, and the big disappointment of the day is I pulled the memory card from the cameras and put it in my MacBook to pull them off, and it did not record anything at Gent on the rear camera. And I'm not really sure why. It may have been me. The video that's earlier in this video was shot, the unload there at Crankshaft was shot in VGA mode for the back camera, and I didn't like the quality of it, so I switched it to 720 in the menu settings, and it didn't record it. I'm not sure why. I'm gonna call Falcon tomorrow and ask them about that, because if there's a different camera that I have to do at 720, they need to send it to me, because it was the other video. It looks good, it's all right, but it's grainy, and I don't like it. And the whole point of the system is to not have to be hooking up the GoPro all the time. It's too much trouble, especially all the trouble I went to get the thing installed and hide the wiring and everything. It was about a 45-minute install to do that. So I'm sorry I don't have a load video for you today. And it was a good one too, because it was 3 coils and the sheet steel and all tarping. It looks really, really good. So, sucks to be me, huh? Another note, before this thing gets too long, I talked to my new student. I can't pronounce his first name. Tawin, something like that. I'll have to ask him again. I talked to him on the telephone, told him I was going to pick him up in North Little Rock sometime tomorrow afternoon. And depending on the amount of time that I have available, we may not leave until Saturday morning to head to Dallas. And because I have just over 700 miles left to drive to get to where I parked the truck. If I don't have any problems, I might make it if I do 65. I mean, I could always drive until I run out of hours and then let him finish off the rest of the 14. It's perfectly legal, though Maverick doesn't like that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to figure it out. Right now, I'm just kind of harked off about the loading video. So I will try and figure out what's wrong with it, and at least get y'all unloading video on Monday, maybe. Because it's 2 stops. The first stop gets 1 coil and the sheet steel. The second stop gets 2 coils. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't remember. I'm too bad of shape at the moment about the video. So, with that said, I'm going to call it a day, and then I'm also going to call it a weekend because we won't talk again until Monday. So, until then, keep the shiny side up, 73s, and have a great weekend. I'm going to try. Bye.